he will be puzzled dreadfully to see the country that he has made, USA. And without finding any consolation there, he will travel to the France. There also he will be trembled to some extent. And without finding the suitable environment, he will go to England. And there he will be less puzzled again. And without finding any comfortable place in Europe, he will come to India and China. For the first time, he will see and he will experience the comfortable environment still in a natural condition. Therefore, this is a statement given many years ago. Then now I think the same era has dawned, right? We have to be friendly with the environment than before, because we were fighting with the environment in order to achieve our purposes. But however, the nature is against us now. Therefore, I think we have to be familiar with the nature, and natural things are becoming more important than before. Therefore, I think we have to understand the world and the person in the world and his condition, and what is the mentality and what is his condition in the world, and what is his future, etc. However, all this means, that means we have to understand what is Dhamma. Dhamma also nature, right? If we understand, because all other sciences become useless when we reach our old age, decay, disease, and death, right? These are the main things that we have to consider in life. Because we forget all these, that means birth, decay, disease, and death. But however, these are very important factors in life, because all of us have to face with these. Therefore, these are common to all beings in the world. That is why, when someone says that when we define what is spiritual development, they have different opinions. But however, spiritual development means nothing else. We have to understand what is birth, decay, death, disease, and death. Because these are the essential things in life. Then if we find solutions, or if we understand them clearly, I think that is called, if we have any way of facing with these realities, that is called real counseling, right? Real understanding. All other things becomes temporary, right? All are temporary measures that we are taking. However, I am not taking much time. However, I am referring to the physical, mental, and environmental relationship graph that I have given you last time, because on that day I couldn't read it because of the small letters. Therefore, I couldn't complete it. Therefore, I think if you have this, the physical, mental, and environmental relationship, I think it will be shown on the screen now. Then we can understand it, right? This I have made in relation to the Asian context, because we find such drafts published in the books, but however, they are not relevant to Asian culture sometimes. Therefore, including almost all the aspects as far as mental behavior is concerned, I have included here. Actually, here the basis is this. I have taken 3 mental aspects common to all. greed, hatred, and delusion. I have explained it earlier how it is developing in the three stages, right? Likes and dislikes, and unrest is the normal level, and in the middle level, greed, hatred, and delusion and conceit, that's the middle level. The final level is covetousness, ill will, and wrong will. That is the three stages of the development of these two mental aspects. That means likes and dislikes, right? It is essential for life because it is useful in our day-to-day life, likes and dislikes. But being unable to achieve those two desires, that means we cannot get everything we like, and we cannot reject everything that we don't need. Then in these two reactions, we are mostly failed. Therefore, in the mentality, there is always unrest. Therefore, likes, dislikes, and unrest. Unrest is a byproduct. Two reactions are likes and dislikes in order to live in this world. But unknowingly, these two aspects are developed up to the middle level. That means likes are developed up to greed. Dislikes are developed up to hate. Then the byproduct unrest is developed up to delusion and conceit. Because delusion and conceit means once we are able to achieve our purposes, then conceit is increasing in mind as a byproduct. And also when we fail to achieve our purposes, then there develops delusion as a byproduct. Then in the middle level, greed, hatred, delusion, and conceit. Then when it develops up to the third level, greed is developed because greed, hatred, delusion, conceit, these are mental disorders actually. Then it is developed up to the active level. Then greed becomes covetousness, right? Covetousness, avijja in Pali. And hatred is developed up to ill will. And delusion and conceit are developed up to the wrong will. Now, in this third level, we are active in the society, right? Therefore, it is harmful to the society. But in the middle level, harmful to the person because it is internal, right? But in the ordinary level, normal level, it is not harmful, but anyway, it is the normal. But however, finally, we have to eliminate those two reactions also in order to realize Nibbana according to Buddhism. Then these three aspects in this chart I have taken as three fundamental mental aspects of all beings. Then in Ayurveda, there are three aspects related to physical body. That means in our physical body, there are three aspects, what we call flame, bile, and air. Vata, Pitta, Kapha. Vata means air, Pitta means bile, Kapha means flame. Then according to Ayurveda, all kinds of physical disorders arise due to the imbalance of these three humors. And according to Buddhism, all mental disorders arise due to the imbalance, due to the development of these three aspects, greed, hatred, and delusion. Therefore, I have taken these two aspects, greed, hatred, and delusion, as mental factors, main mental factors, which are responsible for all mental disorders of all beings. And flame, bile, and air as the basic elements of physical body, which cause the all physical disorders. According to Ayurveda, because of the imbalance of air, 80 diseases arise. Because of the imbalance of bile, there are 40 diseases that arise. And due to the imbalance of flame, there arise 20 diseases. Therefore, these two aspects are very important. I think researches have been done even in regard to the three humors. I cannot remember well the English terms. They have found three hormones in the physical body with reference to flame, bile and air. However, we will come to that later. Now, remember, for this chart, I have taken these two aspects. And also, there is another one. In Ayurveda, they give three mental aspects, what we call sattva, rajas, tamas. Actually, in connection with the greed, hatred, and delusion, the sattva is similar to greed. Rajas is similar to hate. Tamas is similar to delusion. Then, but however, in Ayurveda, sattva, although it is similar to greed, it is taken as positive. But in Buddhism, all the three are negative because of 2 points of view. Buddhism advises us to get rid of this existence, right? But Ayurveda advises us to live a happy life. Therefore, in order to lead the happy life, greed or lust or desire is essential. Therefore, it is taken as positive in Ayurveda. But the other two are negative according to the Ayurveda also. Therefore, I think you can remember these three cages refer to these three physical and mental aspects. In the left side, I have given how other things are related to these three aspects. That means, environment, our behavior, daily life, everything, right? Astrology, and many factors, about more than 27 connections with these three are given in the left side. Now we will come to the first one, connection with physical body. As far as physical body is concerned, from heart, actually between the delusion, air is connected with the lower part of the body because the digestive system, under the digestive system, air is active. That means removing the impurities, right? That is, air is the lower part of the digestive system. Then the pitta bile means digestive power. Then it is connected with the stomach, right? And flame is predominant in the upper part. That means from heart to head. This part is connected with the flame, predominant. But in all over the body, all these three are active. But however, predominant areas, right? Flame is from heart to head. That means flame, always is active in this area. And in the stomach, bile, that is the digestive power. And the lower part of the digestive system is connected with air. It is motion, right? Then connection with seasons. But this differ from country to country because their seasons are very different. But however, here it is given in according to the Asian system, right? That means rainy season and also Sisira, dry season. In these two seasons, air is active, more active. And in September, October, that means Sarat season, bile is active. And also Vasanta, spring, that means March, April, flame is active, right? According to the seasons. But we have to compare it with our own environments. The next one is connection with taste. There are 6 tastes. Sweet, that I will say from the beginning. Pungent, bitter, and astringent are relevant to the air, right? Because air is increased. Then pungent, sour, and salt are connected with bile. And sweet, sour, and salt are connected with flame. That means because of these states, flame, bile, and air are increased, right? Therefore, if we know that all the foods and drinks relevant to these tastes, that, for example, sweet, sour, and salt, such foods and drinks increase flame. Then the food and drinks with the taste of pungent, sour, and salt increase pitta, bile. And also the food and drinks related to the pungent, bitter, and astringent increase air, like that. They are. Then we can change our foods and drinks in accordance with the 3 humors. Then we can, because I have given in the other lessons how to decrease, what are the food and drinks that decrease them and increase them. Then if we understand that, we can change our food habits. And also if we know the seasons in which these humors are changing, then we can get protection, right? If we understand. Then, connection with time, this is also important. In the 3 times, evening, noon, and morning, these 3 are active indifferently. That, for example, in the morning, flame is more active. In the noon, bile is active. Then in the evening, air is active. In the night also same. In the night also, first half, flame is active. In the middle, bile is active. Early in the morning, air is active. That is why, these 3 aspects are connected even with the 3 periods of time in the day. Therefore, we have to understand that, for example, in the morning, if the flame is more active, then we should not take the foods and drinks which are increasing our flame, like that. Then next one is time of predominance. Air is predominant after the food in the stomach is digested. After digested, air is predominant. That means it removes from the body, Then air means motion. Then the bile means digestive power is predominant when the food is in a semi-digested state in the stomach, right? When we eat at that time in the stomach, bile is very predominant. Then, in the commencement of the process of digestion, in the mouth, flame is very active when we put the food into the mouth. The flame is produced. Like that, 3 occasions that these become predominant, right? At the time of eating, and when it is digested in the stomach, and after the digestion. Then, age. Age also is connected with these 3. In old age, air is active, more active. And in the middle age, bile is more active. And in the childhood, flame is more active, right? More active. But all the 3 are active, but however, mostly they become active in these 3 ages. Then actually we have to wonder, if I am in an old age, I should know that my air is more active. Therefore, we should be very careful about that. Right. Then, function. Function means, air. The function of air is motion. Function of bile is digestion. Then function of flame is moisture in the food, right? Like that. Then again, qualities, the air is dry, light, cool, sharp, fine, and moist. Then bile is hot, liquid, yellow, bitter, light, and oily. Then the flame is white, heavy, oleaginous, viscid, cooling, and sweet. These are the qualities of these 3, flame, bile, and air. Then, abilities, positive abilities. This is very important as far as education is concerned. If the air is okay, well balanced, recalling that means reminding ability, right? When the air is well balanced, we can remind, we can recall very easily. If the air is not balanced, we cannot remember, we forget always. We cannot remember the things, right? Recall the things. And the next one is pitta, right? Understanding. It is called dhi. That means if the bile or digestive system is okay, we can understand anything at once. At once we can understand. That means there are some people, some children cannot understand, although we explain again and again, cannot understand. That means bile is not well balanced. And also, the flame, if the flame is in balanced order, we can remember many things, right? We can remember. If the air is okay, we can recall. That is, in education, we need these three abilities. We should be able to understand well. That means bile, physically, bile should be well balanced, right? And also, we should be able to remember anything at once. That means our flame is okay. Flame is well balanced. Then we can remember. And also, we should be able to recall. It is very important. I will tell you one example. In our village area, our uneducated parents know this. Around the house, there is ginger, ginger is planted. Then when they give us something to drink like tea, etc., they have grown around the village, right? Around the house. Then, time to time, they cook them and give to the children. Then, the stomach is cooled down. That means bile is well balanced. That means their digestive power is good. Then they can understand well, right? And also, they always use that, the white onion, etc., that they can destroy the air, no? Right. Then actually they always mix them with the curries, etc., right? Then, their air is well balanced, no? Then naturally, with the natural things, always three humors are well balanced in the natural way with the daily foods and drinks. That is why the village areas, the children are very keen, they can understand well, they can remember well, they can recall well, right? This is very important. And also we have to say, at the same time, if we want to understand well, that means we have to take the food and drinks to balance the bile. At the same time, it is connected with the, in the same case, hate is that. Therefore, at the same time, we have to develop the compassionate ideas, right? We have to teach the children to develop compassion, kindness. Then mentality also is good now, right? And when we take cooling things, then stomach is well balanced, bile is well balanced. And also flame, flame is connected with, flame is connected with lust. Lust means greed. That means while taking ginger, etc., to decrease, to well balance the flame, at the same time, we have to develop, we have to reduce unnecessary lust, greed, right? Desire. It also should be reduced. If we are too much interested in sensual pleasure, it's not, we cannot remember. Therefore, mentality also should be well balanced. And also, air is connected with delusion, right? Therefore, while taking the food and drinks in order to balance the air, we have to practice in and out breathing, etc., in order to reduce the air, reduce the delusion, right? Mind should be well balanced by that way. Therefore, these are psychosomatic, right? Physically and mentally, we have to train ourselves in order to lead the good life. in education. And also, abilities, then positive tendencies, the delusion is connected with recalling. If delusion is reduced, then we can develop reflective ability, right? Reflection is connected with when the delusion is reduced, it is positive. That means reflection is increased, that ability. And also understanding, intelligence. That means, if the hate is reduced, then it is positive aspect is intelligence, right? Hate and intelligence, right? Air and delusion, right? Then the other one is the flame is connected with faith, right? That means, greed, hatred, and delusion. These are normally in Buddhism are negative aspects, but there are positive aspects. Are flame is the positive aspect of greed is faith, right? Greed, hatred, and delusion, these are negative. Their respective positive aspects are faith, saddha, right? Faith, and buddhi. Buddhi means intelligence, and vitakka, reflection, reflective ability. Therefore, greed, hatred, and delusion, when we develop up to the positive aspects, we can develop faith, intelligence, and recalling ability, right? Actually, in Buddhism, there are 6 types of characters: greed, hatred, delusion, faith, intelligent, and thinking character. These 6 characters have been introduced as the negative and positive. Negative means greed, hatred, and delusion. Their positive aspects are faith, intelligence, and thinking, right? Then, negative mental aspects. Air and delusion is connected: stiffness, torpor, agitation, worry, uncertainty, holding on tenaciously with refusal to relinquish, and bile and hate, anger and enmity, disparaging, domineering, envy, avarice. And also greed or flame, deceit, fraud, pride, evilness of wishes, greatness of wishes, discontent, topiary, personal, and vanity. Then these are the negative aspects. In the former case, I gave the positive aspects. Then, positive mental aspects. Positive mental aspects, talkativeness, that means air and delusion, sociability, boredom with devotion to the profitable, failure to finish undertakings, hatching plans at night, and putting plans into effect by day, and mental running hither and thither. Then, the bile and hate, readiness to be spoken to, possession of good friends, knowledge of the right amount in eating, mindfulness and full awareness, a sense of urgency, wisely directed endeavor. Then, flame and greed, free generosity, desire to see noble ones, desire to hear the good Dhamma, great gladness, indigenousness, honesty, trust in things that inspire trust. These are the positive mental aspects of these 3. And also postures, the suitable postures for these 3 persons. For the air and greedy persons, no, for the delusion, the people, deluded mind, for the people whose mind is deluded, perplexed, hesitant, muddled, their posture, sleeps mostly face downwards, step suddenly, press down, then the head or bile, quick, rigid, sleeps with the skull, step, dragged along, and the flame and greed, careful, usual, even confident, step, springly. Then actions. There are actions. Then the air or the delusion sweeps neither cleanly nor evenly, acts unskillfully, unevenly, indecisively, wears loosely. Their habits, right? Then pitta, the bile or head sweeps uncleanly, unevenly, acts tensely and stiffly and unevenly, wears tightly. Then the flame or greedy person sweeps cleanly, evenly, acts skillfully, gently, evenly and carefully, wears neither too tightly nor too loosely. These are their behaviors. Then eating, we can identify them by way of eating. The delusion characters, equanimity of unknowing, right? Because they are looking like this equanimity, because they are like concentrated, but they are looking at without understanding. They are gesture, right? Those are the delusive characters. Then the head characters picks out trivial faults, discounts, genuine virtues. Then the greedy characters looks long as if surprised, right? They are looking. Then suitable postures for them. For the delusive characters, walking. For the head characters, sitting, lying down. For the greedy characters, standing, walking. Actually, when these are recommended, there are reasons, but I have no time to explain why they have been recommended, because there are various reasons for that. Then suitable postures. Then suitable objects for contemplation. Delusive characters, amply large, round object. Any one of the color kasinas and color should be quite pure for the head characters. For the greedy characters, any of the color kasinas, then color should be not be pure, right? Then suitable objects for completion, suitable subjects of meditation. For the delusive characters, mindfulness of breathing, right? Mindfulness of breathing. And for the head characters, loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, equanimity, and 4 color kasinas. Kasinas I have to explain separately. Then for the greedy characters, 10 kinds of foulness, mindfulness occupied with the body. Then actions, etc., pacifying 3 humors. Then in order to pacify the air, sunbath, massage, bathing, and light. In order to pacify the bile, cool shade, tanning night, moonlight, sleeping on the floor, cool air. For the flame, the delusive character, for the greedy characters, exercise, walking, fighting, swimming, and heating. Then suitable medical plants. For example, Vata Vairi for the air problems, I think the botanical term is given. I cannot pronounce it properly. Then for the bile, kamala, that means lotus, right? And also for the flame, vibhitaka, the term is given. Then astrological signs and stars. Even it is connected with astrology. These three aspects. Here I have given the Sanskrit terms: Kanya, Tula, Vrishchika, Dhanu, Makara, Kumbha, Meena. Right? These are called horoscope. Actually, in Asian countries, people have horoscopes. They have what we call lagna, right? Then these lagnas are related to the delusive characters, and Singha is connected with the hate characters, right? Then the stars are also given here, and also parts of the body are given in connection with these planets, and also Mesha, Vrusabha, Mithuna, Kataka, right? Representing head, face, neck, and heart, respectively. Mars, Venus, Mercury, Moon. These are connected with the greedy characters, right? Then plants to be treated for astrological problems. Here should be added astrological problems. In order to reduce the astrological problems, we have to treat these trees, right? The Kohomba, Karanda, Kolan, Nuga, Kolong, Nuga, the Bio, Bo. Actually, these are, I have not given the botanical names, but anyway, you can refer to a dictionary. And for the head characters, Imbul, right? For the greedy characters, Kolong, Karanda, Kohomba, and Dimbul. These are Sanskrit names of some trees. Then connection with elements. According to Buddhism as well as Ayurveda, the whole material world is constituted with earth, water, fire, and air. Therefore, the delusive character or air is connected with earth and water elements, solidity and cohesion. Patavi, Apo are increased, right? They are in their characters. Then the bile or the hate characters, fire and air elements, heat and motion, tejo, vayo are increased. Then flame or greedy characters, all the three elements are balanced. That is why greedy characters or lust characters are the best, because by birth there are three humors are well balanced, right? And rhythm of the pulses. When we put our three fingers here, I think you can show Reverend my finger, right? When we you can see make a inkarla ekada mage rupedan. ඒගොල්ලන්ට පෙර මේ රූපය අයින් කරන්න. මේ පේන්නේ. Now you can see my hand, right? These pulses, the rhythm of the pulses are given here, right? Rhythm of the pulses that we feel for the three fingers like this, We can put our three fingers here. In Ayurveda, it is taught. It is you have to practice it. When we put these three fingers here on this wheel, then air, bile, and flame. Air, bile, and flame. Right? Then if your fingertips feel something very hard, one finger, that suppose that if the first fingertip, if you feel, that means air. In his body, air is increased. If the second finger, bile is increased. in the third finger, the flame is increased. Then we can identify very easily. Then that is why these rhythms are given under there. Then, but you have to study it little bit. Then actually you can practice it and do. Anyway, now may now you know, I wanted to complete this because last week I couldn't read this. Therefore, it is finished now because this can be used by the counselors as a guiding chart. Keeping this with you, you can understand all the connections with the three mental aspects and three physical aspects, right? Actually, psychological and physical disorders can be treated well if you understand these relationships with those three, right? Okay. And also we can recommend many practices, food, behavior, meditation, etc. This is a very useful chart. Actually, I have consulted, I think nearly more than 50 resources to make this chart. More than 50, right? These are not available in one place. They are given in many places in Buddhism and Ayurveda. Then I have consulted all those sources and collected all these relationships and made this chart. Actually, it is meant for the counselors. When counselors question and discuss with the customers, they can understand various relationships. Actually, we have to follow a holistic approach because mental disorders means not only mental, they are physical, cultural, environmental, many factors are connected with that. Therefore, in any culture, we have to take whole the culture as the causes and conditions for mentality or physical conditions. Therefore, we should be able to understand all the factors, right? That is why I have made this chart for the counselors. Okay, now we go to the mental disorders, right? I think I have given you a list of mental disorders. You can see this. Because still we are understanding the mental disorders because we very soon we start the treatments. Before that, we have to understand how these mental disorders should be understood. In Abhidhamma, right? Abhidhamma is the complete philosophy of psychology, right? It is the treatment of psychological factors all. Because in the discourses, we find not all, but time to time in the discourses, Buddha and disciples have explained some mental disorders. But in Abhidhamma, all such teachings are collected together, right? Then you see, as far as mental disorders are concerned, in Abhidhamma, there is a category called Chetasika, mental concomitants. Actually, in Abhidhamma, 4 realities are explained. Consciousness, then the Chitta, mental concomitants, Chetasika, Rupa, matter, and Nibbana. These are the 4 realities treated in Abhidhamma. Then, under the consciousness, 2 aspects have been explained. One is consciousness. It has been analyzed into Kamavachara, Rupavachara, Arupavachara, Lokuttara, into four sections. That means consciousness belonging to the sensual sphere, consciousness belonging to the material sphere, and consciousness belonging to the non-material sphere, right? And also consciousness related to the supramundane sphere. This then the consciousness belonging to the sensual sphere. Sensual sphere means human world, 6 heavens and the 4 hells. Right? Then our consciousness is related to this one. It has been analyzed into 54 types. And Rupavachara, the consciousness belonging to material sphere has been divided into 15. And consciousness related to the formless sphere into 12. And consciousness related to the supramundane sphere into 8 or 40 types. Then, after that, this is the initial recognition of the object is called consciousness. Actually, the main function of the consciousness is to recognize the object initially. And also, the mental process is going on. After initial recognition, then the mental functions are going on further. That those mental functions are called cetasika, or thoughts or mental concomitants. Actually, what we call the ideas, opinions, attitudes, concepts, etc., all these belong to cetasika or mental concomitants. Then mental concomitants also have been divided into several factors. That means, universal factors and variables, right? And wholesome and unwholesome. Then, if we understand what are the mental disorders in that concept, because Buddhism does not say that these are mental disorders, mental illnesses, but they are unwholesome mental factors. Therefore, we can compare the mental disorders with the unwholesome mental factors. Unwholesome mental factors means nothing else, mental disorders, right? Therefore, in Theravada Abhidhamma, 14 unwholesome mental factors are given. 14. First one is lobha, greed, right? The second one is dosa, hatred. Third one is moha, delusion. Fourth one is mana, conceit. You can understand. And number 5, vichikicha means doubt. Number 6, kukkucca, repentance. But here, repentance means actually repenting over the bad deeds that we have done and repenting over the good deeds that we have not done. If we have to do some good things or duties, etc., if we forget, then we are repenting over them. And also, if we do something wrong, after doing, we are also repenting over them. That both are included kukkucca. Then uddhacca means distortion of mind, right? And anuttappa means fearlessness for wrongdoing, right? And thina means sloth. It means we can generally take that the mental idleness, right? Then the niddha means, torpor means laziness of the body, right? And also, ditti means wrong way. Issa means jealousy. Maccharya means misery. Ahirika means shamelessness for wrongdoing. These have been given as 14 unwholesome mental concomitants, so mental factors, so cetasikas. But traditionally what we do is we are learning all these 14, we memorize them and we explain them. But it is not the way. I have given some discussion of these 14, the right side. You can understand that greed, number 1, greed. Then we have understood that the 3 main mental factors, that means which are considered in Buddhism as negative, are the greed, hatred, and delusion. We can connect these, all these mental factors with the greed, hatred, and delusion. I have given that, greed, hatred, these 2 are general, that means likes and dislikes, I told you that, are developed in the middle level to greed and hatred, right? Actually, Sigmund Freud expresses that basic mental factors as sex and aggression. Sex means greed, aggression means hate, nothing else, right? And these are called in Buddhism roots, unwholesome mental roots, right? And also, byproducts of greed and hatred are delusion, conceit, and wrongdoing, right? These are the byproducts. Then all these 1, 2, greed, hatred, delusion, conceit, and wrong view. These 5 are related to greed and hatred. Now you can understand their interrelationship, because I told you that if we want to complete our understanding, both theoretical and practical, we have to understand the facts and their relationship, causal relationship. That's what I am doing now. Again, greed is increased. There are some other aspects of greed as misery and shamelessness. Shamelessness and misery are also related to greed. And also delusion, doubt, repentance, distortion of mind, fearlessness for doing wrong things, sloth, torpor. All these are connected with the delusion, And also hatred, jealousy is connected with the hatred. Now you can understand, all these 14 unwholesome thoughts are connected with the greed, hatred, and delusion. And if you compare them, these 14 unwholesome mental factors, you can compare them with the mental disorders. All the mental disorders explained in the modern psychiatry and counseling, right? All these are connected with this. But remember, Buddhism is very systematic. All these 14 are based on the 3 main aspects of the mentality, that means greed, hatred, and delusion. And also, greed, hatred, sloth, and torpor, doubt, represent 7 unwholesome factors. 5 hindrances. We have, I think I discussed it earlier. There are 5 hindrances. That means, greed, hatred, sloth, and torpor, doubt represent 7 unwholesome factors. 5 hindrances means 7 mental factors out of these. These 7 are given here. And all the above mental disorders belong to sankhara. In the 5 aggregates, sankhara, dispositions or concepts are all these, right? All these 14 belong to the sankhara or dispositions in the analysis of the 5 aggregates, right? You can now understand the interconnection. And also, I have given here 5 sense faculties and their contact with the 5 objects of the external world with the support of the sense faculty mind, individual function of mind regarding the sense data. First, what happens that we have a sense faculty called mind. It has 2 functions. The first one is that it helps the 5 senses to perceive the objects, right? In that sense, we call eye consciousness, ear consciousness, etc. Then, depending on the sense data, mind faculty has another independent process. Then it includes, creating feelings, vedana, remembering the feelings, sanya, up to here. Now I explained that 5 sense faculties means number 1, rupa, then vedana, sanya, right? There are 3 aspects of the 5 aggregates. Then the problems related to the above aspects can be considered as emotional or minor, neurosis. Then all these, mentioned those neurotic disorders can be connected with this, because in modern psychology also they say that the neurotic disorders are mostly emotional. Therefore, these 3 aspects of the 5 aggregates, rupa, vedana, sanya. Then the independent process of mentality has another 2 aspects: dispositions, creating concepts, by reflecting over the memories. It is called sankhara, and consciousness means creating self-view, grasping concepts as mind and I. That is vijnana. The problems related to the above aspects can be considered as major mental disorders. That means psychotic disorders, right? That is what I have explained here. You see that in accordance with Buddhism, we no need to go to other things. Actually, if we understand the three mental roots, that means greed, hatred, and delusion, and all the 14 unwholesome thoughts given in Abhidhamma, if we compare them, if we have a comparative understanding of all these mental factors, then all the modern mental disorders can be connected with all these. Later, in the next lessons, I have given a comparison of the traditional terms and the modern psychological terms. Through that, you can understand they are similar, right? Now we go to the treatment aspect. Sorry for the interruption. Now I think all of you are little bit familiar with the mental disorders, right? And how they are connected with the 5 aggregates. Again, it was interrupted. Sorry for that. Now up to here, I have explained I think now you can hear me. Okay.
Yes, sir,
right.
we can hear you.
All right. Okay. Sorry. Now, up to here, I have explained what are the mental disorders, how to understand them in relation to the personality. Personality has been analyzed as 5 aggregates: form, feeling, perception, disposition, and consciousness. I have explained. Then I explained that all the mental disorders can be analyzed as into 2 main parts: emotional and intellectual. Right? Emotional means form, feeling, perception. Any problem related to these 3 can be understood as emotional. And also, any mental disorder that is connected with the dispositions and consciousness, they can be understood as cognitive. Right? Emotional, intellectual, or cognitive. And 3 kinds of treatments, that means behavioral therapy, psychotherapy, and cognitive therapy. These 3 can be applied to especially form. Form means senses, 5 senses and their relative objects, etc. That's sensory activities. In order to restrain them, we can apply behavioral therapy. Sila. In Buddhism, what we call sila. And in order to pacify the emotional mental disorders, we can apply samadhi or concentration or psychotherapy. Right? And also, in order to eliminate the intellectual problems, we can apply cognitive therapy, that means panya or wisdom. Then this is the basis. And again, I have explained that even in the modern psychology and psychiatry, we find 3 basic methods. Sigmund Freud presented psychoanalytic model, and John Watson presented behavioral model, and Kraepelin presented biological model. And although there are differences, but however, behavioral therapy presented by John Watson, actually in Buddhism also, sila, moral means actually behavioral therapy. Nothing else in the context of counseling. We can use it. But there are different methods used in both the cultures. And also, psychoanalytic model presented by Sigmund Freud actually is connected with both psychotherapy and cognitive therapy here. Because psychotherapy means, samadhi means concentration, developing the concentration of the mind. Then actually in that what we are doing is we are repressing or suppressing the 5 hindrances that I mentioned here. 5 hindrances, 7 factors of the unwholesome factors represent 5 hindrances. 5 hindrances are very, very important as far as our mental disorders are concerned. Because, I will explain it further. 5 hindrances means, first one is sloth and torpor. That means idleness and laziness. Idleness and laziness. Many people, many students, young people, old people, all are suffering from this mental problem. They will always feel lazy, right? No active. And the other one is very idle. No, now I cannot, tomorrow. Like that, we are postponing and we have idleness. These 2 aspects, physical and mental idleness, laziness, becomes the basis for many problems. That is one hindrance. The next one is actually doubt, very doubtful. Right? Always we are doubtful about things, right? What will happen? About the diseases, in this time, COVID-19 and many problems, we are very uncertain, right? There is a doubt always in mind, right? That is also a big mental problem. Next one is ill will. That means anger, right? We get angry, right? We are impatient, right? Then anger, the hatred, right? We are hateful, anger, etc. Very active now in the minds of the people in such an uncertain condition, right? They get angry very easily. It is also become the basis of many mental disorders, right? Then you can understand idleness of mind and the laziness of body and the doubt and the ill will. That ill will means hatred, enmity, right, etc. Then the next one is the distortion of mind. That means mind cannot be concentrated. Always mind is distorted. And also, together with that, repentance. We are repenting over the things, right? Oh, I couldn't do that. In this busy life in the modern society, we always, forget to do things. Or we postpone many things to do, right? Suppose that if you want to see your parents, oh, I will go next month. Or next month, other things happen. Then, okay, I will go in the next month. Like that, we are postponed. Sometimes, our parents die in between. Then we are repenting over that because I couldn't visit them, right? Like that. Also, we are doing some wrong things, right? Then also we are repenting over that. This is also a big problem big basis for mental disorders, right? Distortion and repentance. The other one is the too much attachment to the sensual pleasures. Because, even we don't understand that I am a young person, I am a middle person, I am an old person, etc. Because in these stages, we have to change our mentality also. But the problem is that we are taking the same mind up to the old age, right? Because suppose that if you are about 85 years old, if you are thinking like a young man, I think it is a big problem, no? But when we are children, we have to think like children. When we are adults, we have to think as adults. When we are old, we have to adjust to that life, right? But if we are taking the mentality, same mentality throughout the whole life, then it is called too much attachment to sensual pleasures. Yeah, that also creates many problems. These are called 5 hindrances. These are the basis of many mental disorders. But concentration. Concentration means that it is a method of suppressing them, not eliminating, but we can suppress these 5 hindrances. For example, let us say, there is that we found in the chart, kasina meditation. Kasina means a round object, not too large, not too small. We can make it out of a cardboard or something like that. Then, we can color it because we can select a suitable color for our character. Because for the different characters, we can select different subjects of meditation. But you take such a round object, and suppose that your matching color is yellow, then you color it with the yellow, and you keep it in front of you like that, right? Not too distant, not too close. Then you are looking at it, right? I am looking at this round object, one color. Then you look at it, and after some time you close your eyes and think of that object, that round object mentally. You try to see it through the mind. So, anything you can do that. at once. If you look at anything and close your eyes and you can take the mental image. No? But that mental image is not similar to the external object, because mental image is always gloomy, not clear, right? Not shining. But external one is very shining, right? Therefore, you have to practice that always in order to create a similar object in mind, right? Suppose that round object, without any change, very same object should be able to create in mind, mental image. That's what you have to practice, right? Suppose that 2 times a day or 1 time a day, you go to that place and you see it, and after some time you close your eyes and create mental image. And if it is not clear so much, then again you look at the image and close your eyes and check. Like that, when you practice this for a certain period of time, you will be able to create a similar object in your mind. Similar object, right? Then, no need the support of this object. Because at any time, wherever you are going, you are working, right, in your office or in the bus or everywhere, at any time when you have a freedom, you can close your eyes and think of the mental image, right? Then when you are able to create a similar mental object in mind, right? It is called vitakka, initial application in this meditation, right? After you are able to create such a mental image in mind, then you have to protect it. You have to check it what time to time, right? Suppose that you are going to work by bus, then you are seated in the bus, then you have a free time, then you close your eyes and think of your mental object, right? Then you can check it time to time. That checking period is called sustained application, vitakka vichara, right? Initial application and sustained application. The two technical terms is that. Actually, we are doing this all the time in day-to-day life, right? Suppose that if you are loving a girl, right? What do? You create a mental image of that girl in mind, right? Then you are checking it all the time, right? That is the checking. But this is not about a girl or anything, but this is the round object, no? Right? Then this is, right? Kasina meditation means taking the external image into the mind as the mental image, and time to time thinking over that mental image, you protect it, right? Sometimes it may be blurred again. Then you have to come to the external object and readjust it, right? These are called vitakka vichara, right? Initial application and sustained application. You have to practice only these 2 things. But you can get 3 results. When you are able to create a similar mental image of this item, then you don't feel sloth and torpor. You don't feel idleness of mind. You don't feel laziness of the body, because your mental image is there, right? And when you are checking it all the time, right? Time to time, when you are checking whether I have that mental image very completely, that because of that checking action, you have no doubt, right? Doubt can be suppressed, right? Your sloth and torpor can be suppressed as long as you keep that mental image. As long as you are rechecking it, you can suppress the doubt, right? For example, let us say, suppose that if you are going to do something, business, you keep that idea in mind firmly. That is initial application. And if you are checking it again and again, then you have no doubt I will get profit, in the future, like that, similar. Then, when you are practicing these two things, there arise another three results. Piti, Sukha, Ekagrata. Piti means cess. Cess means mental happiness. If you have concentrated on this mental object, then there arises cess. Cess means mental happiness. Actually, you are happy, right? Then after that, you get happiness. It is called happiness. The piti is called cess. It is mental happiness. Sukha is physical happiness. That physical and mental both. That, for example, let us say like this, suppose that if you take the syllabus of the exam into the mind, that is without taking the external thing into the mind. Then you are rechecking the object, right? That means you are always checking the syllabus, whether I have done this and this, that. Then you are checking it, And then you have a mental happiness because in the future, I can pass the examination. That idea is there because you are getting ready, all the time. Therefore, that happiness arises in the mind. It is a mental happiness. And also, after passing the examination, you have mental and physical happiness both. That is called sukha, right? Then you have to understand that mental happiness, that means piti or cess below, is one of the dispositions. But sukha or happiness belongs to the feelings in the five aggregates, right? Then now you are mentally and physically calm and quiet because happy, Then you don't feel laziness and idleness, and you don't get angry, right? Because by developing the initial application, you suppress idleness and laziness. By developing that rechecking process, you reduce doubt, right? And also by creating mental happiness, you reduce anger, enmity, ill will, right? And by developing happiness, the second stage, you suppress distortion of mind and repentance, right? And finally, your mind becomes well concentrated. Through that, you repress extreme, unnecessary attachment to sensual pleasures. Then 5 hindrances are calmed down, right? That's side. Therefore, very important, this one, right? Therefore, I have explained these, these mental disorders, right? Now we can understand the importance of the suppressing and eliminating the mental disorder. That means, in Buddhism, there are 3 ways. That means, temporarily and for a certain period of time and completely. Then the 3 methods, morality, concentration, and wisdom, or behavioral therapy, psychotherapy, and cognitive therapy, are recommended in these 3 stages. For the time being, temporary action is behavioral therapy. And for a certain period of time, psychotherapy. Then for the complete resolution, cognitive therapy. That's how. Then, I have explained these 3 measures and also the mental disorders, how they are connected with the 5 aggregates. And also, I took all the 14 unwholesome thoughts in Abhidhamma and I have explained them in connection with the greed, hatred, and delusion, and also 5 hindrances, right? Then now just I explain one method, that means how to eliminate, how to suppress the 5 hindrances. But anyway, we have many more methods in the future we have to discuss. But I think now we can go to the management of mental processes. That means I think I have given you one chart, right? Now we are dealing with the therapeutic measures. They are given in many discourses in various ways. I have made the graphs for easy understanding, right? Now we will take one by one and discuss. Okay, right. The management of mental processes. Now you can means it is mentioned in the Vitakka Santana Sutta. Vitakka Santana Sutta of Majjhima Nikaya, right? Then there, Buddha explains 5 steps, right? 4 steps, no? Yeah, 4 steps, right? Number 1, considering the consequences of the thought. Suppose that if there arises any harmful thought in your mind, then you can follow this method in order to get rid of that, right? Because there arise in our minds hateful ideas, greedy ideas, delusive ideas, right? Very, very harmful ideas. Then actually it is a problem for us. Then we should be able to eliminate that, right? When such unwanted, unwholesome thoughts arise in the mind, we should have a method how to eliminate them. This is one method, right? First stage is that we have to understand, we have to think about the bad consequences of this thought, right? If I keep this idea in mind, what happens? Suppose that there arises anger. Oh, if I accept this anger, then I cannot live in harmony with other people, right? And also I get angry with other people. I fight with other people, right? All are looking at me not pleasant, in a pleasant mood. Actually, I become unpleasant to the society because I am always angry, right? I have a look, very bad look, right? My expression of the face is very rough, right? Because anger is inside. Therefore, you have to think of its bad results, right? Consequences. Then you can eliminate it. And another method, the second one is you have to try to forget it, right? Thinking of the bad effects of the thought is one method. Second one is we have to try to forget it, because there are ideas, because ideas are arising in the mind. We can forget it, no? Just forget it, we say, no? Like that, suppose that if the anger arises in the mind, we can forget it and we think of another thing, right? We should be able to forget, right? This is another method. Number 3 is, number 3, considering the cohesion of thoughts, right? Now, we think when there arises an idea of anger or hate or delusion or something like that, we think that it has come from somewhere into our mind, right? Suppose that if anger arises in your mind, you think it has come to the mind. No. Never comes such ideas from outside though at once, right? And also suppose that if there arises a jealousy or enmity, you think this idea came to the mind from somewhere. No. All these ideas arise in the mind gradually as causes and effects, right? You have to think how, suppose that if there arises anger, you have to think why anger arose in my mind. What is the nearest cause? Right. Today I couldn't take my breakfast, right? Maybe that is the reason, right? You get angry, right? And also early in the morning you met some bad person and you exchange some bad words. That may be the reason. Then like that, you have to remember the causes. What are the causes of this anger? Then anger will disappear. Otherwise, if you take anger as one thing that came directly to your mind, then you cannot eliminate it, right? You have to understand its causal relationship, because there may be some reasons, right? Maybe, you have not taken breakfast. That is why you get angry, right? Or sometimes maybe you missed your vehicle, right? Then you were too late to report to the work. It may be the reason for anger, right? And also, maybe you are suffering from headache or some little ailment, but you have not taken some medicine for that. That may be the reason for your anger, right? Like that, when you think of the condition of your thought, then you may understand that you can easily forget it, right? That's another method. The next one is, the physical and mental efforts to control unwanted thoughts. We can try mentally to stop that thought. If there arises an unwanted thought or harmful thought, we can eliminate it by means of thinking. But we can also use the physical effort for that, right? For example, let us say like this. Suppose that anger arises in your mind, right? Then if you are seated and you are thinking, I want to forget this, you are not able sometimes. Take like this, suppose that there arises an anger, go out of the house, right? And go to the field and run, right? Very quickly run 3-4 rounds in the ground or somewhere, right? And thinking, I reduce my anger, and you walk in a hurry, or you run round there, or you can work hard, right? You can do some work. You can engage in work physically. That physical effort will support you to reduce anger, right? Therefore, don't think that only the mind cannot do everything. Physical effort also we need in order to suppress the mental disorders, right? That means actually that sometimes we are doing that, in order to express our happiness, we are moving our hands, etc. Like that, that suppose that if you are watching a game, then in order to express your happiness, you are moving your limbs and you are laughing and you are jumping, etc. You are doing that too. Similarly, right? If you have anger, enmity, or any unwanted desire, just jump up, right? Run away, right? And do some exercises. Then you can easily forget that idea, right? It's the best way, right? Don't stay in one place seated and thinking. You cannot remove it. But physically be active, right? Do something or shout, right? Like that, if you are physically trying, it also will be very helpful to suppress the unwanted ideas. These are the 4 methods, I think, in Vitakka Santana Sutta, Buddha has given all these 5 methods to be followed when some unwanted vitakka or idea occurs in your mind, right? Then it is the best way, right? And I think now we are passing too much time, but however, today our head of the department, Senior Professor Makuruppe Dhammananda Thera, told us to give you more time to ask questions, right? Therefore, I will try to explain another one. Development of negative attitude towards the extreme basic mental factors, right? Another graph, right? Okay, now you can see that. I will finish with that and let you know, ask questions. Huh? Okay, right. Please look at this. Right. It is, people are misled always because of these 4 aspects, mental aspects. These are called Chanda, Dosa, Bhaya, Moha. Chanda, Dosa, Bhaya, Moha. Right? Chanda means, desire. Right? Desire. Strong desire. And the hatred. And phobia or fear. Right? And the delusion. These are the 4 mental aspects which cause our misunderstandings and wrong actions. We are misled by these 4 because, if there is a strong desire, we do anything, whatever, right or wrong, no, we don't care about that. Therefore, desire should be well balanced, right? Everything should be balanced. Everything should be maintained in a middle level. Middle part, no. Buddhism always emphasizes the middle part. Desire or everything in the middle way. Then, if the desire is useful, because of desire, we are living in the society, we are united together because of desire. And also many things, right, are done because of desire. It is actually essential. But, if it is too much, then what happens? If it is too much, then we will be led astray by that. Therefore, desire should be maintained. Then the Chanda Bhaya, Chanda Dosa, hatred. The other one is hatred. It's a basic factors, right? Hatred also, actually, there is some negative, that means positive and negative aspects are there in our life. It's okay. Because suppose that diseases and some such things that are against our survival, we have to oppose, right? We have to reject them. But it is not harmful. But, if it becomes hatred, then actually people do wrong things, right? When these are in high level, when the desire is increased, we don't know what we are doing. We are not concerned about right and wrong, right? And also when the hatred is very high, then people do everything. They don't care about the right or wrong things, right? That is why we are led astray by these. Chanda, this, by fear. When we have a fear, what happens? We do everything in order to rest. That is why, Buddha says that even the fear also is a factor that motivates us to do wrong things, right? And also delusion, we discussed it earlier. This is given in Sigalovada Sutta, Chanda, Dosa, Bhaya, Moha, Yo Dhammam Mativattati. Nihiyati Tasyato. That means, if someone is misled by these 4 aspects, desire, hatred, fear, and delusion, then I think he has no progress, right? Therefore, actually, we have to control these mental aspects in our day-to-day life if we need to lead the happy life, right? Then I think up to here, we will stop discussing the graphs and also the treatment methods, right? Now we have so far discussed that all mental disorders, how they are connected with the personality, and what are the treatment methods, main methods, and also all mental disorders, how they have been classified in Buddhism, etc. Now we started methods of treatment. That means what are the methods that we can use in order to get rid of these unwanted mental problems, and also the methods that we can use in counseling, right? Then in the future also, we will deal with many such important points. Now, I think we have come to the point that you can ask many questions, right? You can ask many questions if you have anything, right? Then I think earlier also we have got some questions, and I will tell you that one has questioned about the gerontology, right? Gerontology. She has asked that whether there is any course or anything. Actually, we have taught that subject in Sri Lanka, Buddhist Ayurvedic concept of management of old age. It is a subject that for the Master of Arts and other degrees, right? Therefore, it is a subject that we have developed. Then we have published, we have sent you an article on that subject, right? Because I have written it in brief to explain the Buddhist concept of gerontology or management of old age, right? Reverend, are you going to tell that questions?
Thank you very much, Professor, for your very enlightening lecture. And 400 plus participants were today, and all they were very keen to listen, and they found it very interesting. I think nobody left on the way, and they were continuously listening, so we can understand the interest the participants have from many parts of the world. So thank you very much, sir, for your time and dedication to disseminate this wonderful knowledge to the world. So we are going to the question and answer session. May I go in order? Dr. Venerable Sheel Ratna Bante, can you come? Can you present your question, please? Dr. Venerable Sheel Ratna Bodhi.
Hello.
Yeah, please present your question.
My question is that samadhi is concentrating and
not clear, Reverend, your voice.
Reverend, your question is not clear. I think you have some signal problem there.
yes.
Can you type your question and send it to the chat box, please?
Oh, that's better.
Yeah, then I will. Meanwhile, I will go to the next question.
Yeah.
Miss Anchal Kajil Shide, I think I am pronouncing your name correct. Can you bring your question, please?
Okay, yeah. Good evening, Professor. So, like when this started, you explained that greed, hatred, and delusion, this disturbs a person or a person gets into depression. So what I want to know is that how is it not harmful for the outer world here?
Please tell me it again.
Greed, hatred, and delusion. These things makes a person, disturbs a person or gets into depression. A person gets into depression. So I would want to know, how is it not harmful for the outer world?
That's right. Actually, this I mentioned that greed, hatred, and delusion. There are some people who are suffering from mental disorders, but
Correct.
externally we cannot see symptoms, right?
Correct.
That's right. But they may be effect to the society. It is okay,
Right.
because their behavior may be. But they are living in the day-to-day society as normal people.
Normal
By appearance, we cannot understand that they are suffering from, right? But
Right.
yeah, they may be affected to the society, right?
All right. All right. Thank you, Professor.
Thank you, Miss Anchal, and thank you very much, Professor. Can I next go to Dayani Theo, please? Can you bring forward your question? I cannot see you, but you can ask your question. And now I can see you. Yeah, sure.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, Prof. As usual, it is very good lecture today. So actually, I have a few questions. The first one will be related to the dementia. Am I right to say that in dementia patients, the air element is the most imbalanced? And if the Ayurveda approach can improve the situation? Thank you.
That means, actually, I am not an expert in that. But however, the blood pressure, blood. We need blood, the pressure to the brain, to work. The brain works for the working of the brain. We need much supply of blood, Then if those paths are blocked, right? The veins are blocked. Then the enough blood is not supplied to the brain, That then some parts of the brain are not working, Then the patients will lose their memory, recognition, etc. Then actually you are correct, because air is responsible for the moving of the body, Therefore, actually, what we have to do is there are there are some medicinal plants like what we call that ginger, etc. Right? They are clearing the veins, channels, right? The clearing channels, right? There are many such plants, medicinal plants. Then actually I have seen, because I have not treated such patients, but however, I know that such plants, right, clearing because according to Ayurveda, there are many channels in the body. There are two channels. One is called Chestavahi. The other one is Sanyavahi channel. Chestavahi means, when some ideas occur in mind, right? Those ideas are taken to the relevant parts of the body through one channel, right? Suppose that if I want to move my hand, that idea occurs in mind, Then that idea is taken to the hand that I am moving my hand. That is one channel. And also, external stimuli is conveyed to the brain through another channel, right? Sanyavahi and Chestavahi. Then these channels actually, as far as I understand, dementia is some blocking. Actually, these channels are blocked because of flame, maybe. And you know, because of flame, if the channels are blocked, then air cannot move, no? Moving is it. Therefore, I think consult a Ayurvedic doctor and get some medicines, you know, especially there are some herbal things that, you know, actually I cannot tell you the botanical name, but I know in Sinhalese or Sanskrit name I know, there are such plants, you know, they have some elements clearing these channels, right? Then actually, when people use them as vegetable or something, those channels can be cleared, right? I think that is a treatment. Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Dayani Thewan. Thank you very much, Professor. Can I next go to Supriya? Supriya, name, I just simply name your name, Supriya. Thank you. Kindly bring forward your question, please.
Good evening. I am from India, Kolkata.
Yeah, you are welcome. Please bring your question.
I am a gerontologist. I am working with the aging people. And I actually raised one question to Professor that what people should do before they reach 40 so that they shouldn't suffer for this type of dementia or memory problem. What type of precautions they can take? Because dementia is a wide problem and there is no such medicine which can cure dementia. There are two types of dementia. One is reversible, one is irreversible. So that's why how Buddhist philosophy can tell what type of mental strength or life we can lead so that end of life should be very good. Thank you. This is my question. Thank you.
Dementia වලක්ක ගන්න මොකද්ද මුල් හරියේදී කරන්න පුළුවන් කියලා වගේ අහන්නේ සර්.
ඒක ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෙමෙයි නේද අහන්නේ. එයා අදහසක් නේ ප්‍රකාශ කළේ.
මේකට මොකක්ද ගන්න පුළුවන් precautions කියලා කියන්නේ.
Precautions ටික. Yes, actually, you know, the first thing is that we should be active because, you know, and also sufficient nutritious food. Actually, the lack of nutritious food also influences much. And also, you know, on the other hand, that people, when they become older and older, they become silent, right? They become inactive. But, you know, they have to keep their body and mind active all the time, right? That will help them to prevent such disorders. Because, you know, actually all the parts of the body should be active, right? But when people become older, they think that, oh, I cannot move now, I have to sit down and I don't go out. And also sometimes our children and other fellows also don't let us go away, right? But you know, vyayamo hi sada patya nrunam siddha bojina. Vyayam, exercise is very essential, right? Vyayam. Actually, you know, in Ayurveda it is said that, every time half of our strength should be exposed by exercise, right? Suppose that if our strength is 100, we have to reduce 50. How can we understand kukshav lalate grivayam yada dharmah pravartate? We have to walk, right? Any exercise. Suppose that if we are walking, the sweating should occur on the stomach, on the forehead, and on the neck. Little seeding occurs, then understand that your half of your strength is over, but should not be continued further, right? That is the amount, right? Therefore, you know, exercise is very important and nutritious food. That means enough nutritive aspect should be taken into the body, as well as we should be active all the time, right? Although you are older, but don't stay without moving, right? Always try to move, right? Then all the organs and our hands, feet, etc., and also mind, right? Mind is very important, right? Because mind is very responsible for our physical body. We have to understand that. You know, kamma chitta utuaha. Physical body is developed because of 4 reasons. Kamma, our actions, right? Chitta, thinking. Because of the thinking influences physical body. There are different material elements are explained in Abhidhamma, which are produced by the thinking. Kamma chitta. Utu, the other one is season. According to the environmental seasons, our body changes. Kamma chitta to ahara. The other one is the food. There are 4 reasons for our physical development. That means kamma, our wholesome actions, or unwholesome actions. But if we are doing some wholesome actions in our life, it will be helpful to develop our physical body positively. And chitta, if we are thinking always in a good way, right? Good way of thinking also produces cells in the body, right? Body cells are produced by the thinking. And season, and also ahara, the food. Therefore, these 4 aspects should be well balanced in our life in order to prevent the diseases like dementia. Okay, thank you.
Madam Supriya, thank you, and Professor, thank you very much for that detailed and profound answer. Can I next go to Miss Stefa Sik, please? Please bring forward your question. Miss Stefa Sik, yeah.
I'm on, Professor. Can you hear me? So you mentioned the Vijjacarana Sutta and the factors for removing the unwholesome thoughts. So you mentioned 4 of them, and I remember very effectively on personal experience, there is the substitution with the opposite. But is this not considered in counseling to be a valuable method, or is there some reason why you only provided these 4 aspects?
Because, you know, actually in different discourses, different methods are given. Actually, basically, you know, you refer, I will refer to Udana Pali Meghiya Sutta, Lobhassa Pahanaya Asubha Bhavetabba. In order to reduce greed, you have to develop filthy attitude. Dosassa Pahanaya Metta Bhavetabba. In order to reduce hatred, you have to develop compassion, right? Mohassa Pahanaya Anapana Sati Bhavetabba. In order to reduce delusion, you have to meditate on in and out breathing. Another one, you know, the Manasa Pahanaya. In order to reduce conceit, you have to Anicca Sanya Bhavetabba. You have to develop the concept of impermanence. It is the basic, you know. The first stage is to develop the negative aspects against the positive, right? Like that.
Thank you for the question, and thank you for the answer once again. Next, may I open the room for Mr. Don De Silva. Can you please bring forward your question from UK once again today.
Thank you very much, Professor, for that brilliant discourse once again. I'd like to turn your kind attention to the list that you gave, and particularly the section concerning astrology. This, for some, are a serious problem. There are some who don't do anything, who are addicted to astrology, even step out of the house unless the time is supposed to be right. Now, in the suttas, there are quite a number of suttas where the Buddha and his core disciples clearly state the negative aspects of astrology in Buddhism. At the same time, on the other hand, you have also the Buddhist observances which are related to, for instance, the full moon days. So how do you differentiate in this process? Is there a difference concerning astrology, or is it astronomy? Please kindly clarify this.
Yeah, you know, astrology, actually, it is a traditional science. Actually, it means actually the management of time. Time management system in Asian countries in ancient times. Time management, right? Then, but Buddha has criticized that people who use that for their own profit, right, in a wrong way. But otherwise, you know, in Buddhism also, not only on full moon days, but also, you know, in the gatherings of the Buddhist monks, twice a month, you know, when they assemble together for the disciplinary actions, the first thing is that they have to express the time, date, etc., right? According to astrology, it is important. And also, you know, but however, this what we have to remember. For a Buddhist monk who is directly engaged in the spiritual path, I think they have no any use of these astrological aspects. But you know, in the ordinary people who are engaged in day-to-day life, right, they have to accept the conventions. Even Buddha has given permission to do like this. In the Majjhima Nikaya Arana Vibhanga Sutta, Buddha mentions Janapada Nirutting Nabi Niveseya Samanyang Nati Dhavi. You should not overstep the common parlance, right? In behaving in the society, we have to agree upon the common conventions, right? Conventions cannot be overstepped. If we are overstepping the conventions, we cannot live in that society. And for example, let us say like this. Then I think Patachara, Kisa Gotami, when she lost her son, she was mad because she wanted to give life to the son. Then she, like a mad woman, wandered there, here and there, taking the dead body of the son, and eventually came to the Buddha. And what the Buddha told, you know, Buddha didn't say, oh, this is a dead body, keep it away. How can we give life to the dead body? No, he didn't say so. Because, you know, at that time, there had been such a tradition, maybe by taking some mustard seed from a house where someone is not dead. Maybe there had been some rituals related to that. That is why Buddha said, by following that convention, Buddha said, okay, I will give life to your dead son. Please find out some mustard seed from a house where no one is dead, right? Then Buddha used that tradition as a means for counseling, right? Like that, in counseling, we can use astrology or rituals, rites, ceremonies, etc. No problem, right? But philosophically, spiritually, in deep level, it may be useless. But however, in counseling, we have to use that. Actually, in my experience, astrology is one of the most important and useful method to do counseling. Because, we have asked our customers to bring their horoscope. Then, when we forecast something about according to the horoscope, they essentially follow that. Right? Then we can motivate people to do
Sorry, sir, there is a bit of a break. Can you be kind enough to please clarify the Majjhima Sutta that you gave before? If you could be kind enough to just repeat that, please.
Majjhima Nikaya Arana Vibhanga Sutta.
Thank you.
Arana Vibhanga.
Thank you for that question, and thank you very much, Professor, once again for the answer. Can I next go to Mr. Jnanendra? Jnanendra. Do you hear me?
Yes, yes, sir, I am hearing to you. Yes, sir. Thank you, Professor. It is excellent talk. I have listened first or second time your talk, sir. I am here, Professor Psychiatry and Director, Institute of Mental Health and Hospital, Agra, UP, India.
Yes.
Sir, we are working both, basically I'm psychiatrist, so every day we are seeing the patients. First of all, they're psychotic and neurotic patient. Okay, it's your therapy work in the OCD. It is effective because we give all the therapy, behavior therapy and cognitive therapy, and even pharmacological treatment. But how we can proceed in OCD?
Yes, OCD, right. Obsessive compulsive disorders, right? Then
Okay.
actually in Buddhism, this is called Silabbata Paramasa, attachment to rites and ceremonies, right? Actually, in the highest level in Buddhism, we have to attain 4 paths and 4 fruits: stream winning, once returning, non-returning, and arhanship, right? Then, when we are attaining to these 4 paths and 4 fruits, we are eliminating some defilements. When we go to the first stage, that means stream winning, sotapanna, we have to eliminate 3 aspects. That means the sakkaya ditti, self-view, vichikicha, doubt, and silabbata paramasa, attachment to rites and ceremonies. That means compulsive disorder, obsessive compulsive disorders. That attachment is destroyed when we enter the first path of the Buddhist way of life, Buddhist spiritual path. Then actually it is a high level of development, right? Sotapanna. But anyway, high level means actually once we attain that level, we never come back. We go along the Buddhist path. Therefore, it is the way in normal level. I think everyone has some attachments to such things. But however, the best method is, as I explained with reference to the Vitakka Santana Sutta, those 4 methods are very important, right? There are 4 methods I just explained. These are very important. Yeah. And also, we have to understand that some obsessions are very useful in Buddhism, right? For example, if our worshipping, chanting, right? if we have developed them as daily habits, how useful them, no? That means the one useful method is that we can replace them by other practices, useful practices, right? One way is that we have to stop them, we have to try to stop, we have to understand their basis, etc. Because actually we think always that we are guided by some external forces, no? Then, but we can replace them by other things, right? Therefore, some obsessions are very useful, not all. But however, replacing is, I think, very important in this regard, right? Replacing.
Yes, sir, it is very important we replace all the thoughts of the obsession, because sometimes the people used to go on the road, but when they see the temple and the mosaic and they came out from their own vehicle and they say namaskar, pranam to the, offer the worship to the, every time whenever they see the temple and other holy places, they do like that and that, namaskar karte hain, pranam karte hain. But this routinely, they, when these happening routinely, they have hampered their occupational and personal life. So how it, I agree with you, sir. It is good thoughts, a good chanting, good thoughts will be replaced, but sometimes it is become too much. So they hamper their occupational life.
According to my experience, what is the best way in that sense means we have to stop completely, right?
Yeah.
Suppose that if a Hindu person every day goes 2 times to the temple, he has to completely stop that going for about 3 months or 6 months. After that, they can start again as a new step. That is the better way.
Okay, thank you, sir. I am here as I am also the president of Central Psychiatric Society of India. Sir, whenever we are going to organize our PG development program, if I invite you for the such beautiful psychotherapy, because in India we used to give psychotherapy convention, like sometimes we used to, Gita is our, we say all Gita is a psychotherapeutic book for us. But in India, it is very few people know about the Buddhist way of the psychotherapy. So if I will think it will be also propagated in India, because sometimes it is more practical. So it is more practical, because Buddha has given the practical. Just you have given the example of the dead body of this dead son. He give the practical knowledge. Go and find out the cloth of the where is not dead. It is more practical. What I have learned only few things, 1 or 2 things from the Buddhist books. So I think it is best way to, we all the mental disorder can treat by this Buddhist way of psychotherapy.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Reverend Panyaloka.
Yes, sir.
Right, we have finished there.
Thank you very much, Professor. Thank you very much for that question. Next, can I go to Venerable Vajra? Venerable Vajra, can you please bring forward your question?
Yes, good evening, Professor. Today you clearly explain about the conscious mind. So my first question is, can you explain about subconscious mind? That is the first question. And second question is, according to Buddhism, actually from where the thoughts are arising? That I want to know, these 2 questions.
Okay, the first one is, Sigmund Freud presented 3 levels of the mentality, that means consciousness, subconsciousness, and unconsciousness, right? That you are asking unconsciousness, no? Right. You know, actually earlier I explained that because in Buddhism, we have anusaya, pariyutthana, vitikka, right? That means anusaya means latent dispositions. Our former experiences are stored up in the bottom of the mind. They come to the middle level, it is called pariyutthana. According to the various suitable conditions, those stored up ideas come up. And vitikkama means then we are acting accordingly, right? Then these are controlled by the customs, cultures, religions, etc. Then in Buddhism also, we have this idea of storing up our memories, experiences, etc. In the Yogacara idealism, they have alaya vijnana, klistamanas, and pravritti vijnana. Pravritti vijnana means outer consciousness. That means in day-to-day life, we are using with reference to the senses, it is the working consciousness. And klistamanas means in the middle level. That means then all the former experiences are stored up in the alaya consciousness. It is called store consciousness. And he asked that where from they are coming, no? Then you know, actually, this life is a process. It is not the beginning and ending in this life. No, it has been for many years, many millions of thousands of years. We have been in the existences. No, then there is a connection in between these births and existences. Then our experiences are stored up in mind, right? Until we finish this connection, one day, all these are going in a process. They are not permanent, but as causes and conditions, they are continuing, right? Then therefore, everything is coming from innumerable number of existences, right? As our, maybe we cannot uncountable number of existences we have lived. Therefore, you know, our experiences are stored up. They are arising, right? Until we end up with the total destruction of craving. Okay.